Joining us from Windhoek, Namibia, we've got the 2022 African IMMAF Featherweight Champion, Mr. Veja Hinda. How are you doing, Veja?
I'm doing all right, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you very much for joining us. You recently competed at the 2022 IMMAF World Championships in Belgrade, Serbia. If you were to use one word to describe the entire experience, what would it be?
One word, I'll say amazing. I think that pictures the whole competition, everything that I've experienced, just perfectly. I'll just say amazing.
Amazing.
Amazing. Mm-hmm.
Please continue. I can give you, you have more than one word now.
I wasn't used to seeing so many people like compete or come together at one place, one arena, or like the Stark Arena where we competed. I saw, I can't even count, but I believe there were like almost 600 athletes or competitors. Right. So seeing all these different people in the warm-up area is like, whoa, I'm not used to this. Why are there so many, you hear so many different languages, see so many different cultures, everybody's on there, but we're all on the same goal mission, everybody wants to compete and just, represent their country at the highest level and try and reach new heights. So I was just like, whoa, this is fascinating, it's amazing, like I said.
Yeah, and it totally is amazing. And for spectators who watched online, like I watched online, and I was impressed overall. It was amazing from the presentation, from the quality of the fights, and the entire experience. I think for fans of MMA, amateur, pro, wow, what an incredible event! Now I want to dive right into your tournament experience. You fought, your first opponent was from England. His name was Mo Zubair. Give us kind of a summary of this match from what you recall.
In the first round, okay, obviously just keeping the whole background, the warm-ups and all that. But when we walked into the cage, I noticed that he was a bit shorter than me. So I'm gonna try to keep my distance at first and try to keep my stay long. If I must say, use my jab, my kicks, just keep him far. And I realized that I was a lot faster and a lot more explosive than him. So I'm like, what? I can keep this standing and just keep striking from far. And I caught him with a few liver kicks, few kicks to the body, which I could see was hurting him. So he kept trying to. He didn't want to strike me anymore. I could see he was like, no, I have to grab a hold of this guy. I have to take him down because I was too fast for him. So in the first round, you could see I tried to throw like a head kick and he defended it well, but then he rushed in too quickly and I'm like, I'm gonna catch him with a spinning kick. And when I landed that, I don't know if you can hear it on the tape, but he took like a deep breath, like that's when I knew I hit him really well. And that's when we went to the ground the first time. And I knew at that point that he's just trying to recover. He's trying to recover. But I was like, okay, no, rush. No, it's just the first round, it's the world. I don't like, okay, let me not jump on the first opportunity I get. I have to try to keep calm. And then obviously we were grappling a bit, exchanges. I managed to end up on top and the round ended at first. But then my coach told me, like, you know what? We've got this guy. We've got him. Look, he's breathing so heavy. It's only the first round. I feel like that body you threw really hurt him. So I was like, I'm gonna try to keep this fight standing. But I knew that he was gonna try and shoot in again because he didn't want any exchanges on the feet. So I was like, okay, if he does try and shoot in again, because he was a bit reckless too the first time, but my mind was, I was a bit slow, still trying to take in everything. So in the second round, like, if he does that mistake again, I'm gonna catch him. So you could see that he kept trying to come take me down, but I was like, I already like, no, if he does that, I'm gonna put him in a guillotine choke and then put him to sleep. Yeah.
Yeah, and we saw that the clip on social media, it made the rounds all over. IMMAF did a really good job in terms of doing highlight reels and stuff. So it was a very exciting finish, and you made quite a statement because I went back and I looked at you did an interview with the Namibian, I believe it was, and the reporter had asked what your goal was, and you said you wanted to make a statement. And it's interesting because that clip alone, that finish. For what I'm saying, like in this ecosystem where we're inundated with so much content and information from every angle, it's that's a statement. That finish, that submission finish is quite the statement. But you were alluding just before that there was something happening in the warm up. I think you're saying that
when I warm up, prior to the match, to take us to this whole training area close to the arena or just one part of the arena. And my coach always, I like to be isolated before I go and compete. I don't want to see all these hundreds and 500 athletes jumping, everybody's kicking, this one is doing wrestling. I like to be alone and in my own space. So my coach get us a small area, and I could see that these people are trying to see what I'm doing. How am I warming up? Like, why is this guy just lying down there with his AirPods in, not warming up? He's not punching, he's not punching pads, he's not kicking nothing. He's just in my own, So I told the people, like, yo, just cover me, close the curtain. I want to be alone. And I could see they would bring us to this one area where we would have to stand right next to each other before we walk out to the cage. And I could see he's trying to match me up now. He's trying to look at me and he's trying to intimidate me. But I'm like, man, I've already locked in. Now at this point, you're just going to be wasting your time. If you want to intimidate me, go. The cage closes. Let's do what we have to do. And then, I just stayed focused.
Very interesting. What's do you have a particular ritual before competition? Is there something you do? It seems like you need your own, you're describing it as you need your own space. You need to focus. How come? Can you kind of explain it to us?
For me personally, I just like to keep myself as calm as possible. I don't want to burn my mind out and everything. So before I would go out, maybe an hour before I go out, I'll lay down in the locker room with my feet up against the wall or whatever. And I'd have my music in. And at first I'll be playing these mellow vibes just to keep myself calm and cool. And then closer to the time, maybe 30 minutes, 15, I'll say about 30 minutes before I must go, I'll start I like personally listening to Mike Tyson, that one speech or that his interview where he was like, I'm the greatest, I'm the most ferocious, most vicious. Yeah, then I'll switch it out and I'll play that 100 times.
Wow.
Over and over and over on repeat. It stops and I'll play it again and I'll play it again and I'll play it again. And until it's time, until they come home like, yo, we have to go now. And I'm like, okay, I'm ready. Wow. So when I'm going, I seem so calm, but inside it's like, I want to tear you apart. But yeah.
I mean, if that's your mantra, if you're listening to Mike Tyson in that epic post-fight promo, I think it was, that is some next level intensity for anyone who hasn't heard that. Anything he says is fascinating, but that one there, he's really fired up, ready to go. So I guess you need to tap into that in order to prepare for your match, and you finish in a spectacular fashion. Now, what was your coach telling you and your team as well after your match? Because this is day one of your competition. This is an entire it's a tournament, right? So you compete every day if you move on, etc. What was your coach telling you, or what sort of feedback did you get after that spectacular finish?
He just wanted to know if I was all right still, if I had any pains, because obviously I'll have to compete the next day. So he was asking me, are you all right? How are you feeling? Any small pains? I'm like, no, coach, I'm all right. Okay. So if there were, I know you'd always go put me in it's not an ice bath, but try and recover as much as I can so I can be best as I can the next day too. So he just told me, but I was feeling all right, I hardly took any damage So I was like, no, coach, I'm feeling good. So he's like, okay, cool. Let's get back to the hotel. Let's go relax. Let's have something to eat. And then we follow up from there.
So you guys didn't party in Serbia?
No.
I'm kidding.
We didn't go on holiday. He kept reminding us, guys, I know we're going to Europe, we're going to Serbia, but this is no holiday. This is no holiday. These people are gonna go there to have fun and go look at different, tourist attraction place or things. So he's like, no, we're going there to go work. So I was like, okay, coach, I've got the memo. Let's go.
And sorry, go on, please.
No problem. You can go. I'm all right.
So the next day, actually, how did you feel about your performance? So obviously, you won in a spectacular fashion. What did that mean going into day two? Were you feeling confident? Were you still in that sort of? Did you still feel the need to refocus, to isolate, and recenter yourself? What was happening?
I feel like I was a lot calmer because I didn't go into the Worlds at first. I was expecting. I'll say my expectations were super high, So going into the first fight and managing to finish by guillotine choke in the second round, I was like, no, what? We actually do have a chance. My nerves weren't as high. I was like, no, what? We're not behind. We're not too far behind as MMA or MMA athlete in Africa. Everybody like, yo, man. Then you look at these people from England. He's training with Leon Edwards. He's training with these high level people, and man, we're in a small country. but I knew the preparation that I did beforehand. I was like, you know what, I might not be as skilled maybe right now, but I put in the work. And when you put in the work to such a level, you're like, you know what, I'm gonna win. You just have to win. I'm gonna win. So, but going into the second fight, I don't know. I wasn't as nervous. I was used to the crowd, the atmosphere. Now at this point, I'll say I was more relaxed going to the second fight. Yeah.
Yeah. So before we get into that, I'm just curious to know if you could go back to your time at the African Championship, because we've seen you compete there. You are the champion as far as the featherweight division, and you fought competitors and you managed to finish all of them. What did that experience mean for you, having to, compete at the African Championship? Not only compete, but win and become the African champion. Was that a vote of confidence in terms of your training, your abilities, and so on?
Yeah, because that was our debut. That was my first time, the African champs, going to the octagon to go compete. So it meant something to me, like, all the work that I've been doing, it's not just for nothing. I managed to finish all 3 of my fights. Obviously, they weren't as many people as obviously the world's, but it gave me a big confidence boost, like, we're on the right path. We can do this. We can do this as a team, as a nation, as a country, like just Africa in general. We can compete. So, I feel like I needed that before I went to the Worlds. And obviously, everything is just like a learning curve.
Mm.
So, obviously, the people you back, or let me not say back home, people in Africa fight more or less a certain way. And then I've realized now that more to the European side or the Western, everybody else fights a different way. So now I know what changes I'll have to do to my game to do better at the next one. Yeah, so I've got it down.
Very, very interesting. Could you elaborate on that? You're saying you were exposed to all these different fighting styles from Europe, from Asia, from North America, etc., and South America. What did you observe? Is there a few things you could share in terms of what you observed from these different regions of the world when it comes to their approach in fighting?
I realized that a lot of them, not like in Asia, Europe, or whatever, a lot of them are grapplers, are wrestling, so they're wrestling heavy. So when I realized how the judges do score the bouts as well. If you're out, it'll be something if you're on top, wrestling heavy and being active and striking and ground and pounding. That's something. But many of these athletes just want to take you down, hold you down, and just stay on top. Whether they're they're punching or not, it does not matter. As long as they're staying on top of you and holding you there, they're gonna win. So I was like, you know what? If you want to go compete at the highest level, you've got to have somewhat good wrestling. You should be able to stuff takedowns repetitively. You should
Right.
be able, if you are taken down, for example, you should be able to get back to your feet as quickly as possible and keep it standing. A lot of them, they don't have real good striking. Maybe you get you get the few guys who can strike really well. You got Patrick Habirora coming out of Belgium, who's striking is amazing. You've got the featherweight champ now, Kasib, out of New Zealand. He's
Right.
he's a 3 times. Oh, I don't know. It's something about boxing. He's a national champ or something. So
Right.
you get a
Youth
few,
Olympics. Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
then you see why the New Zealand guy Kasib did so well. He's got very good wrestling. He was able to stop takedowns. He was able to get his own takedowns. His boxing, his stand-up was amazing. So he's like, that is it. You can't just be focused. Okay, no, I'm gonna stick to my karate and I'm gonna do this and then hope to go to the world because you're very good at karate. No, you've got to be mixed, like
Mm.
really well. So that's why I'll take my head off to him.
Very interesting points you're sharing there. I noticed that as well. In some of the matches, you would see what appeared to be, very grappling specific
Mm.
fighters, or the opposite too, where it was striking specific. But predominantly, you're right. It was grappling specific. I'd say for a lot of the Asian countries, like the Kazakhstans and so on. You're right. They have strong sambo, strong judo, strong wrestling, and it showed. Actually, I'm curious to know, in terms of your background in combat sports, how paint that picture for us. Where did you start? Which discipline did you start in first before transitioning into mixed martial arts?
I started off as like a kickboxing Muay Thai. I started off just striking, and then obviously back then when I just started off, I didn't really like to grapple or wrestle. I just like to keep it standing, because I used to watch a lot of boxing, and I was a big Floyd fan at first, and then
Nice.
Conor came there, and Conor was lighting everybody up in the UFC with his left hand and his kicks, and I'm like, whoa, amazing! So I want to be like him. I want to do what he's doing. That's how I got into my kickboxing and Muay Thai, and
It's
then
it's very interesting that you start off as a striker first, but what sparked the curiosity as far as mixed martial arts competition? Because I believe I saw you. There's a fight of you online 4 years ago. I think it's a Muay Thai fight. What motivated you to transition and challenge yourself to actually do mixed martial arts?
at first there was just so many rules in the kickboxing or K1. Like I would sweep and trip, and then the ref would come in and stop. I'm like, whoa, why are you stepping in between? I thought we're supposed to be battling out here. Just small little things. I was like, no, I want to experience more. I want to feel like especially if I must go pro. There's hardly any rules. It's just okay, just not kicking a grounded opponent to the head and all those things. But like, I want to feel what real combat, a real fight would feel like. I don't want the ref to be every time. So I was like, no, let me move into MMA a little bit. But if I must come into MMA, I need to learn all the different types of arts too. So my coach was like, no, you've been striking for a few years. Let's focus on what you cannot do. So we started doing a lot of jiu-jitsu and some wrestling, jiu-jitsu. So I'm comfortable. If I must keep it standing, I'll stand. If we have to grapple and do submissions, I've got that too now. So, but obviously we're still learning. I've been doing it for a few years now, and I've got a lot more to come, a lot more years to come. So I'm going to improve. I'm going to be a lot better, a lot better.
Right on. Can you tell us who your coach is and a little bit about himself and his coaching style?
My coach is Carlos de Souza. He's well rounded. He's well rounded. He's a jiu-jitsu black belt too. He was a world champ back in his days as well, so he knows a lot. He's coached a few professional athletes as well, so he's got he's got a lot of knowledge on the game, on the sport itself. So yeah, I don't know what else I can say about him, but he's an excellent man. He knows what he's doing, if I must
Right
say.
on. I saw the gym you guys train at, the facility. I believe there's a video, and it's spectacular, man. It's a massive facility. For anyone who's interested in checking it out, just Google SouSa Studio on YouTube. Just go on YouTube and type SouSa Studio. It's a massive facility. It's very impressive. I think it's big enough to even host potential tournaments. I would imagine, right? Is that correct?
Yeah. Hopefully, yeah. We hosted our very first mixed martial arts event last year, AFL
Okay.
African Fight. Yeah, that was the very first in Namibia. So hopefully this year there's gonna be a lot more to come, and obviously in the future, we'll maybe hopefully, if all goes well, be able to host an African championship back home or
Wow.
in as well. So yeah, just fingers crossed. And if all goes well, then that will be the future for us.
That's
But we've got
awesome. That is awesome. Yeah, the facility, I was impressed by the size, and you've got like a cage, you've got I believe a ring as well. You've got all the different sort of scenarios that you need for training. Now we're gonna dive right into your next match here on day two. You fought Finland's Mika Rasanen. Lead us through this match. You lost by decision, but give us as much detail and lead us through round by round. Unfortunately, I haven't seen this particular match. I read the finish, so I'm hoping you can give us as much detail round by round for those who haven't seen the fight, myself included.
Okay, from my point of view, same thing. Got into the cage, and as the bell rang to start, we were playing with a lot of fakes first. We were both trying to feel each other out. We didn't know what, because I don't know who he is and what he's got. Yeah, and I realized on our very first exchange, I caught him with a straight jab, and then I could see that his eyes lit up a little bit, like, whoa, this guy is quick. But then obviously that was just a jab, maybe I just caught him off guard or whatever. So I was like, no, I'm gonna keep it standing. Let me just feel him out. It's the first round, second fight, we both want this. And then I think I threw like 2 kicks, and he hasn't thrown any strikes back at me at all yet. He's like literally just in my face, in my face. He's just here. I'm like, whoa, what is he on? He's not striking. Does he just want to get in on me? So like, okay, no, I'm just gonna follow my game because my mind it's like a chess game. I need to
Right.
give me something so I can react on that. And so I was like, you know what? Okay, let me see what he's got for me. But then he managed to grab hold of me sometime. I need to go rewatch the fight again. But I know that in the first round I ended up he had my back. Oh no, we were on the cage first. We went to the floor, we were scrambling a bit. He was trying to move, transition, get better positions. But then he ended up on my back, like trying to submit me. But obviously I was able to defend that really well. And there was a point where we were just laying there for long. And I was even looking at the ref and the judges like, are you not gonna stand us up? Like there's no activity there's no activity. If he was at least trying to punch me or trying to sub me, it would be something. Then he's working. And I'm like, no, don't stop that. He's trying to work. He's trying to submit me. But there was nothing. Then the round
Mm.
ended. I got back to my corner. My coach was like, okay, yo, we lost that round, but yeah, it's okay. Keep your head up, stay sharp, and just let's be more assertive. I know you felt him out in the first round. Let's get out there now. So like, okay, cool. I feel good. My fitness is 100. I'm not tired at all. I'm gonna go out there and try to put some hands on him, if I should say it like that. And obviously, we got out there, and it became clear that he too did not want to strike with me at all.
Mm.
So I say his team, they did their homework, or he executed his game plan perfectly. He came in there, he did what he had to do. He wrestled me, he kept me down, maintained top position. That's what I'm saying. A lot of them were just keeping top
Ah,
position. So I
right.
was like, you know what? He did what he had to do. And that happened in the second round too. He stayed on top of me. I was trying there to get a lot more submissions, more flowing, stay active on the bottom, scheme a bit with my jiu-jitsu. But you say he was wrestling tight. He was very good. He was very defensive. So he did well. And then third round too, I think from my point of view, I say this is probably where I made the biggest mistake. I knew that I lost the first two rounds. So I became, in my mind, I was like, I became desperate. If I should say I became desperate, I know like, yo, I've
Wow.
lost the first rounds. I am at the World Championship. I don't want to just go out like this. I need to either submit him or I need to knock him out. Like if it goes to the judges, if I win the third round, I'm still gonna lose at the end of the day. So I became desperate. Like I'm gonna have to go out there and just give it all I've got. And that obviously made me make a few mistakes, which he capitalized on. He took me to the ground again, and all he had to do was just wait it out until
Mm.
the round, and that's what he did. So I would say he executed his game plan, or his team had a real good strategy coming into the fight, and he just managed to execute, and that's how he got the win. So yeah, congratulations to him.
Hey man, I'm really appreciating, how honest you are in terms of this assessment and how you're breaking it down. It's fascinating to, as a fan, to hear competitors break it down like that and just be honest about the situation and so on. I'm curious to know, knowing what you know now, if you were to fight this Mika Rasanen, if
Mm.
you were to fight him again, how would the approach? How would it differ?
I would be, I'll personally, I'll change my base because at first I was standing so tall and high, which making the sprawling time a lot less, or it'll take longer to sprawl. So I'll drop my base a bit, and so in case he has to shoot, I'll try and stuff the takedowns as much as I can. I'll not try and grapple him, and I'll stuff the takedown, get out, and we're gonna go again, and we're gonna exchange again. I'll try, just do what I'm best at instead of like just going to the floor, because I know he wants to probably just wrestle me, but obviously I have to keep in mind that he might think that, oh, this guy is probably gonna just try and I must just fake a takedown and catch him with some hands on top, or he's just think I'm gonna take him down. So there's a lot that will have to go into play, but I'll have to just work on my sprawling. I'll say work on my sprawling a lot. Avoid those takedowns. Avoid going to the floor. If I'm going to the floor, I must work. Even if I'm burn out a lot more energy, just getting back to the feet, I'll have to do that and do what I'm best at. Because in the first round, as an athlete, or as for me, let me not speak for everybody else, I was trying to conserve as much energy as I possibly could, because I know I've got 3 rounds. I don't want to be burning myself out in the first round, and I've got 2 more rounds to go through. So I'll say, but I'll say my biggest fault was probably just my takedown defense. I feel like that's what lost me this fight. Like, because I watched a few highlights and stuff, and you could see he was reaching in from very far, but my mind was focused on I don't know what, and he was able to grab hold of me, and I'm faster than that, I'm better than that. So I was like, but it's good to learn these type of things while I'm still amateur, so I can
Right.
learn, make these mistakes when I'm a professional one day. So all that I can take in and learn about myself and I'm honored, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. Like they always say, it's never lost a lesson. So I'm blessed.
Yeah, it sounds like it was an incredible experience overall to be exposed to this intense level of competition, and you've taken away a lot from it. It sounds like. What sort of feedback did your coach and fellow teammates share with you? Because I believe there were a total of 4 other competitors on Team Namibia, two other seniors and 2 juniors. What did they share? Any information or feedback?
With me, regards to my second fight.
Yeah.
I was trying my best not to speak to anybody. After that, I was, I was a bit, so I told them, be alone. I went to the locker room. I was trying to think to myself, where did I go wrong? What did I do? What could I have done better? So at that time, I don't really want people to come tell me, no, but Veja, you could have done this at this time. You could have, man, it's easy to speak from the outside. When you're in there and that pressure and that stuff is on you, you don't think that way. Right. So like, you know what? When we get back to Namibia and we have to go meet up at the gym, we're going to go over the fights again, where everybody will be sitting, we'll be all watching the fights and be like, yo, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. And that is fine for me. But in that moment, you're very emotional. You've come all this way. You've put in the work. And then you don't get the decision you wanted. So it's just, at that time, I didn't really want to speak. Everybody knew, like, yo, let's give everybody their space. And then when we're ready, calm down, emotions are not as high, we can break the fights down and improve.
Fair enough, man. I totally understand. As you're describing, I could see how one need, you need your space, you need your time, and it's. I think all these experiences really lead to furthering of a fighter's development, right? Especially if they're open to the learning and the takeaways, even from victories, right? Because sometimes I think there's a saying, I don't know how it goes, but something along the lines that you almost get more from losing in terms of what you need to address or reinvent or apply. But I was reading the article from the Namibian because they put an article, highlighting the team's efforts. I'm going to read a quote here, if you don't mind. It goes on. It says, quote, "We are extremely proud of our boys and coach for making it this far. Mixed martial arts, it's such a small sport in our country, and we have accomplished so much in the past 2 years. Thank you for everyone's support." Now, Team Namibia, unquote. Now, Team Namibia, as I mentioned, sent 5 competitors in total. That's 2 juniors and 3 seniors, along with Coach Carlos SouSa. There were only 3 other African nations there. You had, of course, Angola, South Africa, and Namibia. That's correct, right?
I saw the Congolese flag or the DRC, but I'm not sure if I saw any of the athletes. But I would say, from my knowledge too, I saw a lot of South Africans, and then Namibians, and then the Angolans too. But yeah,
right. So sorry, go ahead.
No, I'll say, because I'd assume that, because we had one guy training with us, but he was from DRC Congo, and he was supposed to go compete too, but he had to go home and go through a few assessments to make sure he's ready for the Worlds. But then things didn't play out in his favor, so he didn't make it. But I'm not too sure if they sent any other fighters, because I was, at that time at the Worlds, I wasn't too focused on the other teams too. Right. Just focused on yourself. So, but yeah, I just have to go through.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I was just setting it up in terms of all the different representation teams that represented Africa, and I believe there's only 3 because I scanned the list. You're right, the DRC was there, but they didn't compete, unfortunately. The question I have for you is, what was it like traveling with your team and representing your country at the Worlds, representing Namibia at the IMMAF Worlds? What was that experience like in terms of traveling as a team and going to Serbia? Probably, I would imagine, for the first time in Serbia.
100%. I would say, obviously, representing Namibia, it's always going to be an honor to represent my country, my home country. And traveling with the team, it was a good experience. Everybody was in such good moods, but at the same time, everybody was trying to focus because, the time for games is now over. It's time to go work, But the flights were really long. We had to go stop probably at like 3 different airports and go check in, the time differences in the zone and everything. So I feel like, most of us, when we got there too, our feet were swollen. So we had to go lay down and try and, just get our body back. How are we feeling? How's the weight looking now? Did we go up in weight? Do we have to go put in a workout to drop a few kilos if must be? But I'll say I'm very proud of the team overall. A lot of them, they were fighting for the very first time, making their debuts at the World Championships. So
Wow.
that is massive, I remember, so I was like, whoa, like the juniors, that was their very first time stepping into an octagon cage to compete, and you're doing it at the World Championships. So for them, I'm proud of them.
Wow.
And like, for me and Geraldo and me, my other training partners, we haven't even been competing MMA for a full year yet. It's only gonna be a year in April. So and it's surprising to see that we can already compete with people that have been doing worlds for like the third time in a row. I see people that are 3 times champs, and I've seen other guys have been doing it for like more or less 3 times already. So it's like, what? We've got like 5 fights. You guys have had about what 20 fights already, and we're competing with you. So if you give us some time as the country, as the team, we'll be doing really well in the years to come.
Very interesting. I think earlier in the conversation you said that the Africa Championship was your first time doing MMA, yeah, or
Yep.
competing MMA. But in the lead up to that competition, you had no you had trained the sport, but there was no, in terms of MMA competition, there was no experience.
No experience whatsoever.
This is
No experience.
incredible because you go into this tournament at the Africa Championship and you win gold, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're the African featherweight champion, and now wow. So it's incredible. And now you're in Serbia. You just recently competed in Serbia, and you won the first round. I mean, that is a major win for, I think, your country and for you, of course, but the country as a whole in terms of testing the potential. And you're saying, I think that the team captain as well, he's only been Buck. He's only been training or competing for a year in MMA.
Not only in April is gonna be a year, like officially at
Wow!
the
So not even a year. Not even a year.
not even a year yet, only
Damn!
in April. Yeah, so
Wow!
I'm proud of all of them. It takes a lot actually to get in there, and you hearing that you're gonna be going against previous world champs and people who have so much experience, and back home there's not a lot of there's no competition going on unless my coach or the organizers here are gonna host something for us. Then we'll maybe compete in MMA. Then if you go to a place like Thailand, you'll be able to get a MMA fight probably every month or one. Just that type of exposure. And then we're still able to come compete with people who have a lot more experience in the cage. They've been with bigger crowds. Africa is small. You can see we've got like 3 different countries representing the whole of Africa. So it's like, I don't know, it's Africa against Europe, the world at this point. But yeah, I don't know. I'm proud of everybody, if I must say.
Yeah, you guys should be, man. You represented, and there's a lot of potential moving forward. It sounds, I mean, it's incredible that it's been less than a year, and you guys are really making noise for
Mm.
MMA and its potential there. And it's interesting that you sent 2 juniors as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's obviously the senior level, but always thinking about the juniors is important too in terms of continuity and so on. And hopefully down the road we'll get to see more female fighters coming out of Namibia and other parts in Africa. I think South Africa had some female fighters, and I believe Angola. I believe Angola as well. But I have a question here. It's MMA is not a team sport, right? But overall, how important is having a team in mixed martial arts, particularly from your experience in Namibia? It's a small team, I would imagine, but how important is it to have a good team, an engaged team?
I believe like it is of utmost importance. Like people will always say, iron sharpens iron. So if you have other people that are good, are willing, are working, when you're busy during camp, you're busy running at it, you're tired, you're dropping weight, and you look to your side and you see your partner is going through the same pain, same stress, and you're like, you know what, we can do this together. But if you're alone and you're really tired and there's nobody else pushing, nobody else working, the motivation level is like, yo, coach, I'm exhausted. But then you look to your side and your partner is just exhausted, but he's like, yo, we want to be champions, don't we? Let's keep it going. You're like, you know what, man, you've got a point. let's go, let's go. Just that little boost. It's like, you need it. You need a good team, but if you really want to do well, you can go far alone, but yeah, I would say you need a good team by your side if you wanna make it in the sport. Even though it's an individual sport, you go in that cage alone, but that is the small bit of your victory. It's back home in the gym. That's where the fighter actually won. I think Mike Tyson or somebody, or I'm not too sure who said that, but the fighter won in the gym when you're suffering your team. So I'll say your team, it's very important.
It's interesting too because we could hear in the Stark Arena, we could hear teams chanting, like they had like these chants and songs like of encouragement for their teammates, as they were going to the cage or during the matches, and even the New Zealand, they had the haka, and I mean it's go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
And I don't even know, because when I was competing too, I could hear that people were like, "Yo, Veja's about to compete. Veja's about to." So sorry about that.
No
so
worries.
Everybody coming from like other sides of the arena to my side of the arena, to the cage where I was about to compete in, and I was in the video that IMMAF posted. I was watching and I could see that people were shouting for me. I was like, I couldn't hear this at all. Only in the highlight reel, I'm like, who was shouting for me like that? I'm like, but thank you though, thank you, I appreciate it. So yeah, it was nice, and but it'll be good because we didn't have any supporters really there. You got New Zealand, you've got people doing the haka. Imagine you must be in the cage, your opponent to come in, you see these flames go up, people are shouting and screaming. You're like, whoa, this guy is being sent off to war. That energy that team is transferring into you, it must be such an experience. It must be such an experience, yeah.
Yeah, it's well said. It's incredible, man. As spectators of these fans of this sport, pardon me, you're just like, whoa, like it's the entire. We can only imagine how it feels like in the cage with all of this, all of these distractions and just energy just coming in all directions. Can you paint the MMA picture in Namibia for us? It's the population is just under 2.6 million, but educate us on the lay of the land as it comes to combat sports and mixed martial arts in Namibia.
In like MMA, there's only one mixed martial arts gym in the whole of Namibia, and that's our gym, SouSa Studio. But we've got a few. There's a Muay Thai gym, I believe, and also another Jiu-Jitsu gym. And there's not really much like in terms of martial arts going on back home. We're trying our best to promote, but I don't want to go too much into the politics and stuff, but but we're trying our best, but there's not much going on. We've got one of probably each gym. We've got one kickboxing gym. We've got one Muay Thai gym. We've got one Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym. We've got one MMA gym. And it's difficult at times, because you need different. You need exposure. I want to train against other people who are not my training partners. I'm used to my training partners. I know how they spar. I know what their strengths are, what their weaknesses. I like to go against another gym, other MMA fighters from our country without having to travel far and pay so much money. So like, what? Let me see what he's about. Let me feel him out. Just a new look would also help me improve. But back home, I'll say there's not really much, but we're trying our best to promote the sport as much as we can.
When you say there's 3 gyms, are you talking about 3 gyms in Windhoek, like the capital, or 3 gyms nationally in the country?
The country.
Oh, wow.
It's one MMA gym in the whole of Namibia. And then you get one but most of them are based here in Windhoek. You got the Jiu-Jitsu gym in Windhoek. You've got the Muay Thai gym in Windhoek, and then the MMA gym in Windhoek. In other parts of Namibia, there is no MMA. People don't even know what MMA is. Some people still don't know what MMA is. They're just like, oh, the UFC stuff. I'm like, man, it's MMA, but yeah, we're still educating people. Like, say, it's still a growing sport. And so I believe it's one of the fastest growing sports. So, and obviously now we're making a lot of noise. People are saying, yo, we've got an African champion in Namibia. I want to do this. I can do this too. Let me just go work. Let me just start training. I want to be a champion one day too. So I feel like we're on the right path of growing the sport in Namibia.
Right on. Well, what's the media ecosystem there in terms of assisting you guys promoting the sport of MMA? Because you just, you guys just sent 5 people to compete at the Worlds. You made quite a statement. What's up with is the media really pushing and promoting this achievement?
Dude, I don't really. I tried my best not to deal with the media. I think our team captain Geraldo Bock, so he'll probably be the one dealing a lot with media. At this time, I just want to train myself and compete. But I believe we do a lot of interviews before competition, or maybe like a week before. We'll start doing interviews to put it on all over in the newspapers, all over the national broadcasting stations and all that stuff. But other than that, there's no real, because it's a small sport. Like boxing is a bigger sport in Namibia, so there's going to be a lot of coverage on boxing and football. But when it comes to MMA, we're still at the bottom. But it's coming with time. We just have to push and push and push, and then I believe they're trying to. And we appreciate them. They're doing what they can for us, and yeah, we just have to be grateful.
I think in Namibia, rugby is popular, no?
Yeah, rugby is fairly popular, and rugby, we've got cricket too, that's very popular. But yeah, when it comes to the combat sports, like I would say boxing is the biggest, but rugby and cricket and hockey too. Our hockey team, they were
Ice
recently
hockey. Ice
not
hockey?
ice hockey, indoor hockey.
Oh, okay. For a second, I was like, "What? Really? Ice hockey? I mean, whatever. Hockey in general, the floor hockey, or that's very cool." Quick question, follow up for you: is there an opportunity? And you don't have to answer this if you're not comfortable answering or whatever. But this is just me going off on a tangent here. But in terms of like, okay, so you've got rugby, you've got the boxing community, like. Isn't there some potential transferable athletes from, say, even rugby to mixed martial arts? Because I know that there's been some of that in the past where rugby players, heck, even a few in the UFC from New Zealand and Australia are former rugby. Yeah, even in the UK, a lot of back in the 90s, a lot of people were also crossing over from rugby. So do you think that there could be a case or a scenario for that sort of recruitment, even if it's just for training, if you want to have people grappling in terms of, working the double leg or a take, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm just being,
exactly.
I'm stretching.
I think anything is possible. First, I never used to be into contact sports. I used to actually play tennis first, and then nationally I used to represent Namibia. I used to travel a lot though, but then I moved into mixed martial arts because of the excitement, and there are obviously other reasons why we make the transfer into MMA. But I feel like everything is possible, especially if you're playing rugby. You're already used to that physical, like you're aggressive, you're bumping, you're tackling each other. So I feel like the transfer from rugby to MMA, it's not impossible. Just people have to want to do it themselves. You can't be like forcing like, oh, you've got a good double leg, especially when somebody's running at you, you're going into them. You can become a good grappler. You've got the power, you've got the strength, you've got the will to take contact already. And so it's up to them if they're willing to make that transfer.
Right.
People don't do things that they're not really good at. Everybody wants to just start off when they're really good at something. So leaving one sport and going to another, knowing that you're not going to be the best or good at it, people don't have that patience to be willing to grow. Or I feel like a lot of people don't. They want to start off, oh, I'm good at this, so I'm going to continue doing this. Let me not go do wrestling where I'm going to be the worst in the class and then build my way up. So it's going to take a lot, but I feel like it's possible.
Very, very interesting points. I'm curious to know, you mentioned that you used to play tennis, competitive tennis. That's fascinating. Could you paint that picture for us? Can you give us a bit of that history? Because I find that very interesting that you crossed over from tennis into Muay Thai and then into MMA. How long had you been doing competitive tennis for?
Oh, I started competitively. I'm not too sure, but I've been playing since I was 5 years old.
Wow.
And until like what, 2015. So maybe like what, I'm not even sure, but it's been a lot of years. Like my whole life, all I knew was tennis, to a point where I was even supposed to travel to Spain. They wanted to, like, they came, I think there was these scouts, they came to Namibia and were like, whoa, your son is really good. But I think I was 10 at the time. Your son is really good. I feel like he needs to leave Namibia. He should go to Spain and go play there, because the tennis here in Namibia, it's gonna, after a while, it's just gonna stagnate, and then it's gonna decline. So, but my parents were like, no, I can't send my 10-year-old boy to Spain to go live without us. And they were like, thank you for the offer, but we want to keep him home. But then obviously, as the years went on, I was doing really well, actually, but I needed excitement. It became like a routine, like a job, and it became boring. I would go and there was no real competition. My parents sent me to South Africa, where I started playing tennis there and doing well too. But then whilst I was in South Africa, I met one of my tennis coaches. He did kickboxing. So every day at training, he would be doing these kicks and flying things. I'm like, man, how are you doing that? How are you doing that? I want to be able to do that. Then he showed me the Tiger Muay Thai gym in Thailand.
Right.
Then I started doing research, like, oh, let me see what these people are about. And then I traveled to Thailand for like a month to go train at that gym.
Wow.
I think back in 2017, I believe 2017, 2018, I went for a month. And I said, no, I'm done with tennis. This is what I want to do. I want to do. It's exciting. Every time you get in that cage, you've got that feeling like, whoa, let's go. Tennis became like, oh man, I have to go to tennis training again. I have to go play. Like, it's never like that when you're competing with martial arts. You're like, I have to be sharp. I'm excited. I'm focused. The adrenaline is running through your body. Like, there's never a time where you're just like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this. I'm enjoying the hard training, the easy trainings, the sparring, the competitions, everything about mixed martial arts. I'm loving.
That is an incredible story, man. Like the fact that your tennis coach in South Africa introduced you, I guess, to kickboxing, and from there and Muay Thai, you actually went to Thailand. Yeah. How would you sum up the experience in Thailand in like a few words?
Whew. I don't know. I'm even getting goosebumps right now just thinking about the experience. Because when I went to Thailand, it was around November, December. And that's the time I would expect people would be going on holiday. But in Thailand, it seemed like there is no holiday. Everybody that's there is there for the exact same reason you are, to train and improve. So I was like, whoa. And it's nice. There's no real nightclubs. Obviously, if you travel around, but in the area where I was, everybody, you see one guy walking with his gi for BJJ, another one with his boxing gloves. This one is wearing his Muay Thai gear still. So everybody around you is there to improve themselves. So it's like, I like this. Everybody is hungry to, like, if I can say again, to improve themselves. So like, not, I'm at the right place. There's nobody's talking about going to go party. Nobody's talking about girls and any of these things that can distract you. Everybody's like, yo, I can't wait for training. Let's go do an ice bath, man. That's where I did a lot. I made a lot of friends from all around the world, and I still do speak to some of them till today.
Wow.
I've got a friend in Greenland. I've got another friend in the US, actually, in just a few places. I'm not too sure exactly where else, but I've made tours. Like, it's good to know. And one of them that came there was a boxing specialist, so he was helping me a bit with my boxing, But we made friends during the classes. So like, whoa, you two partner up. Like, oh damn, what's your name? Oh, my name is Veja. You, so like, what? Thank you, bro. So I don't know. You see, I'm even losing words. I cannot even speak. It was such an experience, but yeah, it was good.
Yeah, man. It sounds like it was an incredible experience. You transitioned and you got baptized into combat sports in Thailand in striking. Of course, you left the racket for your fists, your elbows, your knees, and your feet. Man, that's incredible. May I ask about tennis? One last question. What have your tennis community? Are they like, come back to tennis? Are they trying to get you back, or are you peaced out and you said, I'm done? Do you still play tennis? Do you practice it? Do you enjoy watching tennis, or is tennis gone?
I enjoy watching tennis. I love Novak Djokovic. I've loved him ever since I've been a little kid, growing up, and Roger Federer too. But I enjoy my brothers. They still do play. I've got 3 brothers. They still do play tennis. I think it was last year or 2 years ago. My younger brother, he went to go represent Namibia at the Davis Cup or something. Wow. Yeah, so he's still doing really well in tennis. But for me, going back to tennis, I don't see it happening. I just maybe socially, just to have fun, or but competitively, I don't think I'll go back to tennis.
Are
But
these? Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. No, but
Are,
I'll just say I do enjoy the sport. But yeah, that's it.
are these three brothers younger or older?
I've got one older and two younger brothers.
Yeah, man. Why don't you take them to the dojo? Take them to SouSa studio.
My older brother actually, he was training with somebody who actually trained with Anderson Silva.
Oh wow!
Because but then he moved to South Africa, and then they met in South Africa, so he knows a little bit about like combat sports. I play a bit with him. I'm like, oh, but this guy better not know he's actually good. I've got to assert my dominance a little bit on him. I'm playing, but he's good. But he's more into football.
Okay.
And once they play tennis, and one plays basketball. So I don't want to put my passion onto them. Like, yo, guys, you have to do this. You have to do this. So whatever you want to do and you enjoy doing, you should continue doing that, and we'll support you.
Right on. Well, what does the family and friends think about you? You're an African champion, and you just competed at the World. What's the conversation or the comments that you're hearing from them?
Right now, everybody's so proud of me. They just obviously they wanted more for me. They said like, don't worry about it, bro. You are gonna be a world champion. Just stay focused. These things they happen, and But obviously they're complaining about the way I lost, and man, I'm like, oh guys, it was tough. Like, yeah, we understand, but we want you to get better and better and better and better. And it's good that you actually lost. The fact that you're already at the world stage, it's the biggest win for us. It's the biggest first from Namibia ever to go to the Worlds and compete at such a high level, and you still managed to win a fight there at the Worlds. Like, my boy, we are proud of you. We just continue keep your mind focused. Don't let this like demotivate you. This should be more of a motivation to improve. To now you know where you need to be. You know what the level is at. So next time you go, you should be more focused, more prepared to take on the challenges that should come. Because at first I didn't have a clue of what it's going to be like. This year, you just read that there are going to be about 600 athletes. But when you see those 600 athletes in one big room or hall, you're like, whoa, so many different languages. You have to keep yourself calm. It's like, okay, so next time if I must go and see those 600 athletes, it's not going to be a shock to me. It's like, I've been here before. I know what it's like. You know what to do. So I'm happy. And everybody's happy for me too. They still support me. And yeah, I'm just grateful.
Fascinating, man. I'm curious to know, two more questions. I'm curious to know, or maybe three, in terms of like, what are some of the challenges that you've come across as a combat sports athlete, training and competing, from a place in the world that doesn't really have, as you described, a very big combat sports ecosystem in terms of even bodies to train with outside of your own gym. What are some of the challenges that you've come across in your journey?
Right now it's probably just it's sponsorships and finances. That's probably gonna be number one. Because people don't really want to sponsor you yet, because they're like, some people still think the sport is very barbaric. Like, why would we want to sponsor people to go compete and punch and beat and kick each other in the faces? And so, like, it's not even all about that. The sport is beautiful. When it comes to boxing, you guys are the first to jump. So, but at the same time, the sport is growing too in Namibia. So with time, but now they're starting to recognize, like, well, we've got very talented athletes back home. They went to go compete at the African Champs for the very first time, and they're able to bring home 3 medals, 1 gold and 2 bronze medals. So it's like, now we're in their view. They can see us, but they're still. So I'll say probably first now it's probably just the finances, and obviously there's small issues regard. Oh no, well, yeah, but it's just certain things, but yeah.
Fair enough. And in terms of, and I asked this question because it sounds to me like you're very disciplined, very intrinsically motivated as sort of athlete, and you're very serious when it comes to competition and training, which is awesome to hear, because obviously it explains why you're an African champion, you're a champion, period, and you're competing internationally. What's next for you? What's your next move? What are you going to do next?
Right now, I just want to improve a little bit on if I should say, my wrestling, or the mistakes that I made at the Worlds. I want to make sure that they're gonna be little to no holes in my game. I should be 100%. The way I'm confident with my striking stand up, I want to be as confident with my wrestling. If somebody is to try and take me down, I must be confident. Like, there is no way I'm going down. If I do go down, well, obviously I cannot stop everything. But if I do go down, I'm getting back up, or I'm going to submit him. It must be one of the two. So just fixing up the little mistakes and holes in my game, and obviously I want to compete a lot more. But I'm actually thinking of taking some time away from competition for a while, just to improve myself. Because I see now they've invited us to uh, uh is the Indiana Ocean something championships in Mauritius.
Oh
But this is
wow, yeah.
yeah, next month, 11th of March. So we're looking at that, and then obviously the African Championships, which is gonna be end of April. So I have to think now: do I wanna take a step back and improve myself completely, or should I just keep on this high pace? And because I feel like we will do well if we do go to these African champs and the championships in Mauritius too. So it's just a lot of things that I have to sit down with and take some time and think. And yeah.
Fascinating. In terms of that training component, are there opportunities for regional like exchanges where like is there do you guys collaborate with the gyms in Zambia or South Africa? Is there an opportunity just to get exposed to different bodies, different competitors? Is that in the works? Or even because I know in other sports, and I know I'm coming here to talking, I'm coming here from in Canada, but I hear stories of people going off on training camps for other combat sports where they meet with all these other competitors from all over and
Mm.
they just train for a week or two after a tournament. Is there opportunity for more of a regional training within southwestern or southeastern Africa?
It's I'm not too sure about that, but it would be lovely to if we could meet up with maybe an Angolan team for a week or 2 weeks, South African team for a week or 2 weeks, but we haven't done it yet. We've just been traveling to compete. We've
Right.
been like last year, we've been traveling a lot to South Africa because they have a lot more competitions. They maybe have one MMA fight. Like, you've got competitions every month. We don't have anything
Mm.
back home. Like,
Wow.
let's rather go and get some experience in South Africa. But then
Right.
again, it also comes down to experiences like how often can we do this? How often can we fly down with a team to compete? And so it's just, but we're trying our best. If we could in the years to come or so improve the situation in Namibia with regards to MMA and different gyms, and it would be lovely. But I'll speak to my coach. Hopefully, we can speak to other gyms, and as especially if we have to go compete at the World Championships, it would be good to compete or train with other African countries. Let the Angolans come in. Let the South Africans come in. Let's share our knowledge. Let's go take on the world, if I must say it like that. Because everybody looks down and like, oh no, we're going against Namibia. Don't worry about that. They
Mm.
rather feed the Americans, the English, the Russians. Soon they should be fearing like, oh, we're going against the African countries. Oh my gosh, we have to be on top of our game. That's how it has to be, and that's how we're gonna make it be in the years to come.
Right on, man. I have one last question for you. I'm just wondering if there was one piece of advice you would share for any combat sports athletes who's looking to take it, to the next level. Just like yourself, you've done that. You've won at the African level. You've competed at the internet, at the worlds, and so on. And you're just progressing as a competitor. What's the best advice you give for anyone who has that motivation and that drive to take it to the next level?
I'll be like, this is something I saw, a quote I saw about how does it go again? Something about working, just keep working hard and chasing your dreams. If at a stage that you don't seem to be doing well, then that was just not meant for you. But as long as you keep working and trying, your time will come and you will make it. I just want to say that they should also be patient with themselves. Be patient, don't rush into anything. Don't rush like, oh my gosh, I've been training for a while. I have to make money. I have to do this now. I want to go pro. No, take your time and don't let other people rush you. It's like, no, I think it's time for you to go pro. I think it's time for you to go to. No, let me do it myself. When I feel like I'm good and ready, I will do it. This is your journey. This is not anybody else's journey. So when you feel like you're good and ready, you take that step forward. But I feel like always challenge yourself. Growth comes in challenges. If everything is just easy for you, you're not going to grow. If you feel like you're at a stage where you need to take that next step, you should take that next step. But if you feel like you still have some things to work on, take your time. There is no rush. This is your life. Take your time, work on what you have to work on. And then when you are good and ready, you take the next step. But yeah, that would be my advice to any athlete that's thinking of taking to the next step or the next level or just wanting to improve or better themselves. Just take your time, trust yourself, and have self-belief before anything else. Just have self-belief. Because I ran into the legend, the boxing legend, Michael Watson, and he told me, I sat down and I spoke to him, and his story is amazing too. And he told me that the number one, the most important thing is having self-belief. Just believe in yourself, And when you actually just do believe in yourself, you'll see the wonders, You'll see wonders. And yeah, I don't know what else I can say. Just self-belief. It's key.
Wow, man, incredible advice and words of wisdom there that apply to obviously combat sports, but also life. So thank you for I learned a lot from this interview here, and I want to wish you and your fellow teammates all the best. We'll be following closely, and hopefully we can chat again. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much for having me.